Manchester United's downfall this time might be because of one man. Can you believe it? Bruno Fernandes has picked up his third red card of the season. It's crazy to think about. This is Bruno we're talking about, the guy who used to carry Manchester United on his back. Now, he can't even stay on the pitch for 90 minutes, and let's be honest, his performances have been shocking. Just 9 goal contributions in 18 league games? Only 2 assists in the Europa League? What happened to him?
If you take it off Bruno Fernandes, you're going to give it to him.
I mean, it wouldn't be him. He's a bomb skier.
This is a far cry from the Bruno we all knew. The Bruno who was unstoppable. Think back to when he first joined United. They were struggling, and he came in like a hero, dragging them to victories with his goals and assists. Every time he touched the ball, something exciting happened.
I think he might be offside, Bruno.
Bruno Fernandes! Oh! Wow. Amazing strike!
But now, he's a shadow of that player. 3 red cards in 1 season? That's not just bad form, that's a complete meltdown. And here's the thing, even when Bruno was at his absolute best, the critics still found something to complain about. They would nitpick his body language, the way he would throw his arms up in frustration, constantly shouting at referees. Sure, he was fiery, but back then, that same passion was part of what made him so exciting to watch. And let's be honest, he delivered. When you're scoring and assisting every other game, nobody cares about the drama. But then things started to fall apart. The frustration boiled over, and the complaints became more than just passion. And then to think United stripped Harry Maguire of the captaincy and handed it to Bruno is just an absolute disaster. Take the game against Tottenham earlier this season, United went down just 3 minutes in, and you could see the desperation on Bruno's face. He went flying into a tackle, completely reckless, and it all went wrong. Honestly, you could make a strong case that the red card wasn't really a red. It looked like he slipped before going in for the tackle, but then again, should your legs really be that high, even if it's accidental? That's where the debate comes in. Either way, the controversy around it worked in Manchester United's favor. They appealed, and the red card was overturned.
We all saw Bruno Fernandes trudging from the pitch on Super Sunday, having been sent off for that foul on James Maddison. I can tell you, it has been rescinded.
That meant he would be available for the next game, and trust me, what happened next? You won't believe it. The next match was against Porto in the Europa League, and oh boy, what a game it was. United had already thrown away a 2-goal lead, and Porto were up 3-2 heading into the dying moments of the second half. You can feel the tension, right? The clock was ticking, and United were desperate to score, but Bruno Fernandes? He took that desperation to a whole new level. A very, very high level. And I mean that literally.
Garnacho.
Another red card! That's 2 red cards in back-to-back games. I mean, even Casemiro, who's practically made a name for himself collecting red cards since joining Manchester United, hasn't managed to pick up 2 in a row. Thankfully, Maguire came to the rescue and snatched a draw for United. Otherwise, it would have been another game where Fernandes cost his team the result. And honestly, that was a game they should have won comfortably in the first place. But you know what? Those red cards seemed to calm Fernandes down a bit. Sure, he was still Fernandes, complaining here and there, but he managed to go 14 straight games without even picking up a yellow. 14 games! That's impressive for someone with his fiery temperament. Then came the game against Wolves, and well, that streak had to end sometime, didn't it? But it wasn't just a yellow this time. Nope, Fernandes went all out and picked up another red card.
Infield it comes to Bruno Fernandes. Fernandes though.
It happened right at the beginning of the second half, leaving his teammates in a nightmare scenario for the rest of the game. This time, the red card did cost them. Wolves took full advantage, and United lost 2-0. That loss dropped them all the way down to 14th on the Premier League table. 14th! Fernandes is probably one of the last players you'd expect to end up in this situation. Sure, we all know he has a temper, but this is just next level stuff. And when you realize he's the first United player to be sent off 3 times in a single season across all competitions since Nemanja Vidic, it says it all. And what makes this even more frustrating is that Fernandes is the captain. A captain is supposed to lead by example, right? But lately, it feels like Bruno's doing the opposite. Instead of inspiring his team, he's dragging them down. Fans are fed up, some are even calling for the armband to be taken away.
Yeah, I mean, he's just not Manchester United quality in terms of being a captain. You think about that armband.
Can you believe there are people actually suggesting Maguire should get it back? A year ago, that idea would have sounded ridiculous. Now, not so much. Oh, and before we continue, if you're enjoying the video so far, don't forget to smash that subscribe button to Total Footy so you never miss out on more awesome content like this. Okay, but let's be real, Fernandes is a phenomenal player. Nobody can deny his talent, but being a great player doesn't automatically make you a great captain. And here's the big question, is Bruno Fernandes the right man to lead Manchester United? Look at the legends who wore that armband before him. Rio Ferdinand, Eric Cantona, Roy Keane. These guys were warriors. They didn't just wear the armband, they owned it. They set the tone for the entire team and fought like their lives depended on it. That's the standard. And Fernandes? He's just not there yet. He's got the ability, sure, but right now, he's way too dramatic and inconsistent to be that kind of leader. And it's not just about leadership, his form has dipped too. You can still see flashes of brilliance, but overall, he's not delivering the way he used to. Remember when he first joined United back in January 2020? Fernandes was electric. He came in like a whirlwind, scoring 8 goals and racking up 7 assists in just 14 games. He practically dragged United to a 3rd place finish that season. He was that good. The following year, he somehow got even better. 18 goals and 11 assists, he was unstoppable.
Breaks here for
Bruno Fernandes, oh what a strike! What an unbelievable...
Things shifted a bit when Ronaldo returned, but even then, Fernandes kept producing. He scored 10 goals in 2021-22 and another 8 last season. But this season, it's been tough to watch. With just 4 goals so far, he's on track for his worst goal-scoring campaign yet. For someone of his quality, that's just not good enough. He needs to step up both as a player and as a captain because right now, he's got a lot to prove. Aside from that also, Fernandes has definitely been part of the problem with how chaotic Manchester United have looked lately. He's always so eager to play that killer pass the moment he gets the ball, even when it's screaming for a bit of calm, some patience, and control. It's like he's constantly chasing the highlight reel instead of slowing things down and reading the game. That inability to hold possession has been a real issue. But things have started to shift a little since Ruben Amorim took charge. Amorim's possession-heavy style has forced Fernandes to rethink how he plays. With that 3-4-2-1 formation, Fernandes now has to hold onto the ball longer and pick his moments carefully instead of just launching it forward every chance he gets. Honestly, it's tough not to feel bad for Fernandes because it wasn't always like this. But now, it feels like the weight of United's struggles has finally caught up to him. And let's face it, this isn't all on him. United have been a mess for years now. When a team's struggling as badly as they have, it's bound to take a toll on even the best players. Fernandes isn't the only one off form. Look at Rashford. Rashford just hasn't been the same since that brilliant 22-23 season. He's not scoring, he's not creating, and honestly, he's just not making an impact. Ruben Amorim has even dropped him from the starting lineup in the last 2 games, and some say it's a wake-up call, others think it's simply because his performances don't justify starting him anymore. And what about the new signings? They were supposed to make a difference, right? But none of them have really stepped up. It's the same old Manchester United story, another season of frustration and underachievement. And who gets all the blame? Fernandes, of course. He's the guy everyone expects to carry the team to be the leader, but right now, he's struggling just like the rest of them.
For me, the value of a captaincy is huge because this is somebody who's going to lead by example. This is somebody who's going to be one of your top performers. This is somebody who's going to be available regularly and somebody who can be a difference maker. But at the moment, you look through this season, he's costing them.
Fernandes needs to step up and think about what it means to wear that captain's armband for Manchester United. Right now, he's got to get it together for himself, for his teammates, and for the fans. Let's be real, he's their most important player. Sure, he's not at his absolute best right now, but when he's unplayable. Remember that game against Leicester? That goal was classic Fernandes. Sharp, decisive, and brilliant. And it's not just about one goal or one game. He's had moments where he's driven the team forward, creating chances and keeping the attack alive. But in football, it's not enough to just play well. If you're not scoring or assisting regularly, people start to question you, especially when you're someone like Fernandes, who has built a reputation for being the guy who delivers. Even Fernandes knows he needs to do more. He said it himself. When he first arrived, he set the bar ridiculously high with all those goals and assists. Now when his numbers aren't as eye-popping, the criticism comes fast and loud, and honestly, he has a point. If he were still banging in 15+ goals a season, nobody would be complaining about his attitude or saying he slows the game down. But let's not sugarcoat it, he does need to fix a few things, and he needs to fix them fast. Luckily, with the red card against Wolves, he's only missing one game against Newcastle, but you can bet some fans think he got off easy with that. This season's far from over though, there's still time for Fernandes to turn things around. He's got to start scoring again, but more importantly, he's got to show what real leadership looks like. If he doesn't, the criticism about his attitude and captaincy will only get worse. And soon enough, people might start to question if he's really the player United needs to lead them forward.